man. I am excited.
Yeah.
Mr. G-Salih.
You know what's crazy? People think the G is for for gangster. And I found that out recently, but my name is actually Jihad. And he was like, oh, like, so that's what the G is for? And I was like, yeah, man. I was like, what'd you think it was for? This moment of realization.
Man, was goody, everybody. You already know who we got in the building, man. I am excited.
Yeah.
We got Mr. G-Salih. That's how he's known to y'all, but how I know him is G-Salih, bro. Shout out Sudan, dog. We outside, and not only that, at home, he known as Jihad. You feel me?
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? My uncle named Jihad.
Oh, word.
Yeah, my mom's brother back home. His name is Jihad, but not like that's a tough name. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
That's
man.
love,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, where G-Salih come? Obviously, it's Jihad Salih, right?
Yeah.
But what made it be G-Salih?
So when my pops immigrated to the U.S., he chose his grandfather's last name as our family name because he was just so fond of him.
Right.
So my grandfather's name was Salih, and he was so close to him, so fond of him. So he ended up using Salih, and it meant so much to my pops. And Salih in general, like I would hear it when I was younger, like what it means, and obviously it means like somebody who's righteous or somebody who's like righteous. I think that's the word.
Yeah, Salih means righteous.
That's the right translation, right? So growing up, obviously like I don't know, the word jihad and the word salih, like both words are kind of like even together. And I feel like my pops kind of like planned it that way, where it was like jihad salih, because jihad.
She said billah.
Yeah, and jihad can be misconstrued. It could be thought of like the way the extremists twist the meaning behind it and the perception behind it is kind of like so. Jihad Salih is like righteous jihad.
Yeah,
you know what
I get what you're saying.
So anyway, but I made it G Salih just because it was the first letter of my first name is Salih, and it kind of like G-Salih. Yeah, because kind of like rolls off the tongue. It's like
G-Salih. You know what I'm saying? That's how the Americans say. G-Salih in the building. You already know what it is.
My pop's name is Salih too, though. So
that's crazy.
You know what's crazy? People think the G is for gangster. And I found that out recently. Like somebody told me, he was like, and this more so people from Sudan, right?
Right.
But they're like, of course,
gangsta Salih.
Somebody was like, wait, so when I go to Sudan, they'll be like, yo, Salih. That's what they'll call me because they think my name is Salih, right?
Yeah.
And they think the G is just for gangster. So then somebody was calling me Salih one time. He was like, your name is Salih, right? I was like, yeah, bro, that's my last name, but my name is actually Jihad. And he was like, oh, like this moment of realization. He was like, so that's what the G is for? And I was like, yeah, man. I was like, what'd you think it was for? Just out of curiosity. He was like, bro, wallahi, me and the homies, we thought it was for gangster. We thought the G stood for gangster.
Every rapper's a gangster.
Side. I was like, yo, how do I even give off any gangster vibe? I don't even give off gangster vibe in my music or otherwise, you know what I mean?
Right. But the thing about it is that obviously because you're a rapper, they want
people
associate exactly. That's the
perfect also way. G-Unit, all them, it's just that whole thing. Oh, rapper, easy. Gangster, and especially Africans, bro. Yeah. Bro, I got braids when I was younger. Y'all think I never got braids. I got braids on him. My dad thought I was joining gang, bro. So it's like Africans, bro.
Bro, what? I know you know Sudan. They grew up on 50 Cent.
Mm-hmm. 50 Cent
go shawty. It's your birthday. That's all they. Well, not all they know. I'm not going on Sudan.
Nah, man.
But most of like how we grew up, it was just 50 Cent,
Tupac,
Snoop Dogg, Eminem, all that type of like gangster lifestyle.
Now I was gonna say I remember going to Sudan and seeing them have like posters of 50 Cent
everywhere, bro. Everywhere.
Y'all been to Sudan recently? I feel like I just asked you that actually, but you said when was the last time you went to Sudan?
2019, late 2019.
Man, not only that, man. Let me speak on this, man. First Sudani on the podcast. You feel me?
Oh,
shout out G-Salih. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Other than me, obviously. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Sudan. But first Sudani guest on the love. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Sudan, man. But I've been back in 2019 was my last time.
So how was it? Bro, so y'all been the same year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
how long was it for you before you went back in 2019?
2016.
Okay, so not that long.
Yeah, 2016, then 2019. Now I'm about to go this next summer, inshallah.
What about you?
Man, it was a long time, bro. It was, I think it was 10 years or 11 years before I went back in 2019. So it was a huge, like
gap. That's a
gap.
How old were you?
last time I went before that.
Yeah.
I think I was 12.
Okay.
I think I was 12. It was like 11 or 12. But it was crazy, like going back and like the nostalgia, and reconnecting and remembering all these memories from when I was younger. It was crazy, bro. I wish I would have went more often. And now, kind of like after that last time, I was like, I need to go more often. You know, reconnect.
Yeah, no, I feel that, bro. Sudan is like every time you touch down, it's a whole different experience. Yeah. And I feel like as you get older, you experience it even in a more like different way every time. 100%. But before we even get into all that, man, G-Salih, we know you. You know what I'm saying? Another thing about G-Salih, you know, DMV head, you know what I'm saying? That's love, man. We support you, you know what I'm saying, to the end, bro. This man is I'm not going to say God, it's stuff for the law and all that, but he's talented, bro. Listen, bro, he's talented. Go watch his stuff. It'll be in the bio and all that. You already know him. If you do, you already know his work. If you don't, you'll definitely find out. Speak about you, bro. Let the people know who you are, where you come from, what you do, all that.
Yeah, man. So, like LT said, man, I was born and raised out here in the DMV. I was born in Virginia. Actually out here, not too far in Falls Church. Grew up out here till I was like 8 or 9, and then we moved to Gainesville. Back before Gainesville was even anything, like it was literally just all land. But like during that time, I would go back and forth to Sudan. So, grew up out here. Started doing music when I was maybe 13, 14 years old.
13, 14 years old, you was holding the mic.
I was holding the mic, bro. Before that, actually,
going in.
When I was like 12, I took a creative writing class in middle school. I remember it was like 6th grade, 7th grade.
Right.
I took a creative writing class, and the teacher was like, had us hooked on writing poems. But she would do it in such a creative way. Like she gave us notebook. Y'all ever seen that movie, what's it called? Freedom Writers.
I knew you were about to say that movie. Yeah.
So it was kind of on that. She probably was inspired by that. Mm-hmm. But she gave us all like composition notebooks. Yeah. And in these composition notebooks, every day we would come in, she would say to write whatever, like nobody was supposed to read them, right? Besides us. So it was like something personal to us. And she would like read it here and there, just like certain assignments to grade them. But it was supposed to be for us, like a personal journal. And every morning we would come in, she'd be like, write how you feel and you know, what's going on in your life right now, but write it in the form of a haiku or write it in the form of a sonnet. Right. You know, so she would teach us all these things, and then it would you know, we would interpret it in a way that was personal to us. That's dope. So it ingrained in our minds, you know, all these things we were learning. So that's kind of like where I first fell in love with the art of writing, you know? Yeah. And so I would do that. I continued even after that class, even after that year. I would write all the time. I would write poems. And then that slowly gravitated into lyrics because I was so tapped in with hip hop, like Kanye West and Wayne, and you know what I'm saying? Like that was that era. Yeah. So we was just talking about 50 Cent, 50, Nas, and Jay.
You mentioned in one of your freestyles recently too. You was like, I lived up to what? It was like, there you go, Kendrick and.
Yeah, I used to listen to Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Wale. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Wale towards high school. That was like. All I would be listening
to. I feel that.
When they was also on the come up around that time. Yeah. So like, so before that, that's what really got me into it, and I would just use it as kind of like a personal journal. Right. And that's still for real what it is to me now. Like it's like a way for me to like just release. You know what I mean? And get my thoughts out and understand myself also through it. So that held through. So that's kind of how I started the music thing, and I never would release because I was like, this isn't something that I was actively pursuing as like something I could gain from externally. This is something that I was given to and I was gaining from on its own. You know what I mean? Right. So I wasn't looking for anything else out of it. But I would send the homies like stuff I would record on the little
little opinions on how.
Yeah, I figured out how to use GarageBand and I would record on the little headphones. So I would send them stuff and they'd be like, yo, this is good. Oh shit, this is good. Oh, yo, this is a lot better. This is a lot better. And then it got to a point in like late high school, they was like, bro, if you don't release something, we just can't fuck with you no more. Yeah. It's like
wasting this talent.
Yeah, bro, you gotta drop something. So I ended up doing that in early college, and then I got a lot of good feedback. Was hearing back. That was the first time I was really hearing back from people who I didn't know.
Right.
Like, cause you know that was SoundCloud era too. So So I dropped it on SoundCloud and people were just picking it up.
Right.
And people were hitting me like, yo, I connect to this. When you said this is also how I felt before. You know what I mean? So then I found that purpose in it. And everything, like, as you could tell, everything I'm saying is all tied to a purpose, you know? Right. So, like, I found a purpose in doing it, and then that's when I started releasing and just continuing from there.
Wow, that's fast.
How was that moment, though, when you felt like, when you first got that reaction from people you didn't know? And, like, yo, how did that feel?
Crazy, bro. Crazy, because it was a mixture of people who I did know and people I didn't know, but they were both saying the same thing. Right. They were both saying, like, yo, I felt this. Like, yo, I appreciate you saying this or putting it in this way, and I play this on a regular because I connect to it.
Right.
So that was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and not only that, it's like that's where you notice like you're creating your own audience, because like to some extent you can like depend on, you know what I'm saying, your boy's opinion and whatnot, but it could always somewhat be. I'm not saying that it was biased, but I'm saying in terms of like you becoming the artist that you are today, you had to start somewhere to create your audience. Yeah. So it's like I feel like that was your first break into like getting somebody that just like really into just your music. Yeah. Like don't even know you, or like trying to like we say in Arabic, or like, you know what I'm saying, give you a little props or whatever. But it's like, yo, you got art that you're creating, and yo, that's tough. Yeah. And that's how I feel like you created your audience in a way.
Yeah, like it evokes something out of them, because it's all the human experience is common. Yep. Like we share all these experiences, or like the feelings that we feel throughout life. It's all different experiences, but it's the same like foundation. So like everything's the same at the root. So when you put that piece of art out, it evokes that emotion out of them, whether it makes them laugh or cry or think or whatever it is. Like that's when people really connect. So. Yeah, beautiful thing about art, man. Yeah, mashallah, bro. So far, you know what I'm saying? I see milestones for you, bro. Like, bro, y'all gotta go listen to this man, bro. And I'm not saying this because he's Sudani and I'm trying to promote all my Sudani, but shout out, man.
Yeah, for real, bro, man.
One of the earliest supporters too. Man.
Yeah, man, it's love, bro. It's love.
Speaking of being Sudani, you know, growing up, you know, the way we grew up, we know it was never. I don't know how y'all grew up, actually.
Same thing, bro. We all foreign.
Looking at it, like, I'm just talking about, like, making that as a career, being a rapper. Yeah. It wasn't, like, something realistic.
Boy, what?
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
So, like, when was it, like, you thought, oh, this is, like, a realistic, like, goal I could make and make this a career out of this? Because it's, like, you know, it's far-fetched kind of in a way, because we don't have people in our families, let's say, immediately, in the music industry. Right. Or they're athletes or something. It's like, oh, I gotta just take the other route. Right. When did you feel like, oh, this is like a reasonable goal I could actually attain?
Yeah, that's a great question, bro. And that's even in a big way, like that probably even played into me thinking, obviously this is not something I'm gonna do professionally. So, you know, let me just keep it in myself where I'm getting enough out of it already. Mm-hmm. And I went into college thinking, okay, I'm gonna go to college, I'm gonna graduate with a business degree, and I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do from there. Yeah. But for me, it was more so like the point where I realized, like, okay, I'm gonna take this seriously, is like I said, that point where I realized that, okay, there's a purpose behind it. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not just doing it to say clever things and people to say whatever, or I'm not doing it just so I can get a lot of money out of it or flash out of it or whatever. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'm doing it because I feel like I can inspire people, and I could use it as a medium for to make an impact, you know.
That's real, bro.
So that's where it started, but obviously that's not enough for the fam and for where we come from. It's like, nah, like you gotta take life seriously and do, you know, something, either become a doctor or engineer or a lawyer or something that has a
it's just what they seen, you know.
Yeah, what they know to be sustainable. Yeah. So like at the same time, I think growing up in that culture and growing up in that environment, there's a lot of truth to that too. Mm-hmm. But then there's also like growing up here in America, you're encouraged to like follow your dreams. You're encouraged to like chase opportunities, and those are like plausible things. Yeah. Like you could actually be successful in art. Mm. You know, you could actually be even more successful in art than you can in other things. Yeah. So like that's kind of like the counterbalance of like being Sudanese and being second generation. Right. You know, anything, because your parents are coming from somewhere where it wasn't possible, and you're growing up somewhere where it is possible. So you're kind of like striking that balance. So I would consider myself balanced too. because I try to find ways through music and through other mediums and projects to make an impact, together, like blend, to put them together into one.
Yeah, no. Yeah. And I say sometimes we're like a lucky generation too because of that, because we get like the best of both worlds in a way. Because we're like that medium for like our kids, because we could potentially lose our culture in a way with our kids, but we have the balance where we know the both sides to it, keeping it intact. You get what I mean?
Right.
Keep it intact, and then also like, looking at things like, for example, like career-wise, being a rapper, it's realistic goals, right? So we could like feed that to them, but have both perspectives on it. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, like the pressure, bro. Like if I want to mention something on that point, it's like even for example, like look, us in Sudan, technically, out there, boss, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they got, who y'all got? What's his name, bro?
You talking about?
Bro, what's his name,
Amina?
bro? Huh?
Is Amina Eritrean?
He's Ethiopian.
And how about, what's the other one? The one that...
The Weeknd?
Yeah, The Weeknd.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking.
Ethiopian.
Yeah.
Ethiopian too.
But generally... Nipsey. Bro, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like you go to these other, and technically in our world, it's like, I feel like also with that, it's especially within the art, and I'm not just relating this to you with the music, but I'm relating it to like any, like those like careers we want to pursue other than like the college stuff, like our art or our stuff, right? It's like, I feel like within our families or our culture, it's like you said last time earlier, like they don't have anything to look up to like that to be yo, it's possible. Yeah, he can do it. Let me, support. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's like when you say like we have the best of both worlds, also it's like it also has like pressure type thing.
There's a commitment to that. Yeah. And to everything you saying, what Qasim was saying earlier, like it's the best of both worlds, but also we creating a world of our own.
Right.
Like it's like that world that our parents came in, and then the world that there is existing in the States and all the opportunities there are, and then we're trying to create like something in the middle,
Right.
Where it's like, and then lead our generation or the next generation into that too. Right. And I always have those conversations too with the homies, like the unique position that we're in and all the things that come with it, but one of them being that you have this like spectrum of people who, some people really embrace the culture, and some people don't embrace it at all.
Yeah. Right.
And like certain reasons for both, but and then everything in between. But it's like you think about like the responsibility that we have to the culture, because if we don't pass it forward, then eventually like a generation, 3 generations down the line, like our grandkids might be like, I don't know anything about Eritrea. I don't know anything about Sudan. But I do know that my great grandpa was
right. Yeah, that's what's happening now, bro.
It reminds me of like someone like, let's say, all right, some of my friends that I would consider like white, but they're like, they have, let's say like their grandparents are Italian, but then their parents are like Americanized. They were born like they were here when they were like 2 years old, for example. Like that's like us.
Like us, yeah.
So I'm like, dang. So is my kids gonna be as American as like my friend does? And he's not intact with his culture. He considers himself American, type of thing. But it's like
very possible.
So that makes me think.
Man,
like,
it's happening now.
It makes me think about like, dang, okay. So does that mean since I'm like too Americanized, does my wife gotta be more cultured than me?
Yeah, I mean, no. Hey, you think I'm playing?
But luckily for y'all though, for you guys, y'all are fluent in your language. Right? I'm not fluent, so like I know like
I guess kind of fluent.
If I want to like continue something that's culture wise, I know I got
bro,
too, right?
Like
because for me growing up, like I understand my language though. Like my mom speaks to me and I understand her perfectly, and I'll translate for someone. But growing up, my dad spoke to us in English and my mom spoke to us in Tigrinya, our language, right? So I grew up confused. My dad wanted us to like be more like assimilated, not feel like out of place.
Right.
That's why he spoke to us in English, right? So, but that kind of
he was like, this man.
So I understand it, but I don't speak it fluently, right? So some of my friends that both of their parents spoke to them in Tigrinya, they're fluent. Some of the homies, they're fluent.
Word.
Right. So, but for y'all, I feel like your parents probably spoke to y'all in Arabic, right? Growing up.
For the most part.
Right?
But that's interesting, because I always thought like you said, there got to be a balance. But I always wondered what would happen if one like you raise your kids where one parent is speaking to them in English, one parent speaking to them in their
there you
language.
go. Right there.
I'm a product of it.
Literally,
so
it's like half you
it.
understand it, but you don't speak it.
I could say words. I could pronounce words good, like my pronunciation with words is good, right? But I can't have a fluent conversation.
You ever thought about taking a class to Green?
I mean, I could have, bro. Like,
Hey, you be
to
reading
honest,
books.
It's not like I couldn't. It's not my parents' fault. I'm not blaming my parents. If my dad sees this, it's not your fault. But no, I could have learned it. You know what I'm saying? And I think for me, it's easy to learn because I understand it, right? So I can understand. I could go and learn it. It's not going to be hard.
Yeah, man. Because there's a lot of diplomats and a lot of like Americans who go in and study to get in your study Arabic and because they're working around the world.
Right.
I remember taking an Arabic class in college, and I think it was a few of us, but a lot of us, I think even majority of the people in the class were American, like American born, American like parents, everything. But they were like really studious and like they would tap in, and like some of them had better Arabic grammar, skill wise, writing and everything than me. I was like, yo.
I feel like I see when people like they leave their kids sometimes with their grandparents. I see why.
Yeah, no babysitters, bro.
Yo,
no babysitters.
Get that? It's their environment. Kids are sponges, so it's like they're gonna.
Yeah, bro. Especially those years where they're learning the most, bro. I'm trying to tell you, like what you just said about like people trying to look for mates that speak Arabic or like what I'm saying, or like their language. That's happening. Mm-hmm. Like it's not that, and even what you said about a generation where kids come and be like, some like grandfather of mine, was Sudan. No, that's happening now. It's not happening later. Like I see Sudanese people that are like, bro, I'm gonna call my cousin out, bro. I'll be like, bro, look, you gotta go to the country, bro. You haven't been in a year. Yeah. But what am I gonna go back for? I'm like, what you mean? What you gonna go back for, bro? Like, bro, at the end of the day, we're foreigners here, right? Like, I get you didn't grow up with like, you know what I'm saying, your culture, or like you're not indulged in it in a way that it even matters to you. I get it. I'm not gonna put that blame on anybody. You were out here your whole life, you got used to this lifestyle, all that Americanized. But it's like, at least me personally, I guess. It's because I've lived in Sudan for a while, but generally it's like, me personally as a human, not dealing with cultures, like I want to know my roots, like I want to know, like my people, what they about, what you know what I'm saying, who like what they do, or sometimes that teaches you much about you. You know what I'm saying? You go see, like I remember we interviewed Thule, remember? Hijabi Hooper out in New York, but she was also talking about this. She was like, basically she went back to, what was it, Ghana or?
Yeah,
Guinea. Yeah. So, my bad, Thule. But generally, she went back to Guinea. She was like, I found out that my uncle, I do this because my uncle does that. And I do this because my aunt does that. I do this because my does that. So it's like, bro, it's like just simple of wanting to know what your is. You know what I'm saying? What your culture is. Yeah. Like, you don't have to always go back and like have it like, I'm and then nowadays it's called fob, bro. Call me a fob, bro. I love my country.
LT is a fob.
Call me. You know what fob is? You know what fob is? I'm gonna say it here. You know what fob is? Fob is
off the boat,
no. I'm gonna tell you what fob really means. Fob means somebody that's insecure about their own cultural loss. That's it.
What?
Like, you are so insecure about how uncultured you are that you gotta call me a fob. Go get your education. Go back to your country. Go do what you gotta do. And then, y'all calling people fobs because there's something you see in him that you don't have.
Nah, it's just you be doing fobs.
Fob. I'm a FOB, bruh. I'm a fob, and I got American.
I think of a scenario where you do some fob.
What do I do that's fob? Go ahead. I am not ashamed, bro.
Nah, but for real though, you were all right. Look, so you were born here. Immediately, right after you were born, you got taken back to Sudan. So like, he's technically a fob because.
Bro, this episode ain't about us. It's about G-Salih.
Wait, so you were born here?
I was born here in Maryland, PG County, bro. Shout out. What you mean get citizenship? No, my dad brought my mom to the U.S., Maryland, PG County.
I wish I was in that same scenario, bro. I wish my parents took me back home. And I learned.
I mean, technically,
and I'm fluent everything.
Yeah, I mean,
but the fobs are important though, because the fobs are part of the reason
100%.
we're not losing our culture. They putting us on whole team.
Yeah. No bull. It is
because
then also at the same time, it's like they're not raising you in an unknown culture. Like sometimes there's a gap with our parents. Like for example, like I mean, my mom, she does not understand like the emotional feeling as a kindergartner. Yeah. They're not gonna communicate certain things with me. It's just like they're like back home. In a way. So it's like for them, it's like okay, whatever he just experienced at school, for example, she's not gonna have. I don't know. It's like I don't know if I'm making sense to y'all.
Yeah, like she doesn't completely understand it. Yeah, she hasn't been through that experience.
Through that specific experience. So it's like kind of in a way you're growing up in an environment she's familiar with.
You learning the ropes on your own as you're growing up. Yeah.
You get what I mean?
For sure, bro. For sure.
It's that dilemma. But so like for me, when I went like to Eritrea when I was like 3 years old, so I don't remember. That was the last time I went there. I don't even remember it. So now I gotta go back though.
For sure.
Like hearing y'all going to Sudan and everything, it makes me like think about I gotta go.
Yeah, bro, you gotta go.
And it, let alone that, also for you, it'll help you also just feel more connected to your culture in a general sense, and then also just the feel like it's hard to explain the feeling of just being in the motherland.
Man.
Just feeling the air and feeling with everything that comes with. Yeah, it just feels like home.
Yeah.
SubhanAllah.
Man.
It's crazy.
With the music, bro. Circle, man. Circle is
Circle.
Let them know what it is.
Shout
and
out
who.
to Circle, man. Shout out Proof. Shout out Keys. Shout out Ease. All y'all, bro. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So how did that start?
Bro, that started back in around that 2018, 2019 time. Proof had reached out, and so for the people who don't know, Proof is like pretty much a connoisseur in everything music. You know what I mean? Like he's been on tour with J. Cole and them. You know, he's Boss and Eve's brother. So he's been part of the tour.
Boss's brother, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
Proof is Boss's brother?
Yeah, Proof is Boss and Eve's brother.
They do look
and
similar.
Momo.
They
I
do look similar.
not
too.
sharp,
like, wow.
bro.
Yeah.
What? That's crazy. SubhanAllah, small world.
Yeah, bro. Mashallah. So they're a family of 5. You know, the 5 siblings is Momo and Proof, Eve, Boss, and their sister. So shout out the whole.
Yeah, shout out the whole bus.
But yeah, so he's very knowledgeable in terms of the music industry. You know, he's been in those settings, and then he was also an artist himself. So he used to release music back, you know, growing up in Queens in New York. So in 2018, you know, the whole 2019, you know, the whole revolution was happening in Sudan, was going through a tough time, but it was a moment that like kind of like globalized Sudan in a way, you know, like it bridged the gap between the diaspora and the people in Sudan. So like and also with social media, Instagram and all that, but we started connecting with people who are Sudanese all around the world.
Right.
And everybody just started getting to know each other. It doesn't matter what part of the world you're in. And then when the revolution was happening, obviously we united towards that cause. And there was as a result of that, it was a lot of art that was coming out. And we were discovering, there's this Sudanese artist that lives in the UK, this one that lives in U.S. California, this one that lives in Texas, this one lives in Virginia.
All the Sudanese artists dropping their tracks.
Everybody dropping, and everybody's getting to discovering each other.
Right.
So that was a crazy time, and like Proof had this amazing idea of putting a project together that included all Sudanese artists from all over the world. So he wanted to put together like this mixtape. Right. Had everybody, and we did, and it was called 249 Experience Volume 1. Go get that's on. I think it's only on Spotify, but Volume 2 is on all platforms.
Link will be in the bio.
Yeah. And so he reached out. He was reaching out to all these artists. So he reached out to me. I guess he probably seen something I posted at some point. And what's crazy is that was the moment where I was just starting to release stuff. Like release actual stuff on my socials.
Yeah. What year was
like that? That was like 2018.
18.
Yeah. I remember there was this one freestyle idea I was wearing. Like I did one to Erykah Badu Soldier instrumental, and I think that's the one that he caught. And then he hollered at me. He was like, "Yo, bro, I'm putting together this tape. I want you to be on it.
Right.
So you got a track for it, whatever." So that's how we kind of initially connected.
Right.
And then he built this whole community of artists that were all on there, whether they were grew up and born and raised in Sudan, or living in Sudan and living outside of Sudan. And so we all connected. And then towards the end of that whole process, we finally put it together. We put it out, and then Proof was like, yo, there's these few artists that I feel personally drawn to, personally connected with, that he's built a relationship with. And that was me, that was AKA Keys, that was Ease the Bully, Nadine, Ruby, and YK. And Omar Majid, shout out Omar Majid.
Yeah, Omar Majid.
So we put this basically a Avengers squad.
Yeah. Assemble.
Right there.
Yeah, that jump's hard, bro.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. And everybody's unique in their own way. And then Proof kind of took us under his wing.
Right.
It was like, yo, I want to work with y'all, develop y'all, and see what we could do.
That's real. That's real, bro. Yeah. Shout out Proof, man.
Shout out Proof.
Yeah,
man,
for real. Circle. That's real, because it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like you mentioned, like how y'all all came out at that time, and how much like Sudan needed us no matter where we were. And it's like, it definitely is crazy, because it's like talents came out and support came out, like all in one. You know what I'm saying?
And
yeah.
we all inspire each other in our own unique ways.
Mashallah.
You know, like since I don't think I will be like, I think I owe a lot of my development as an artist to Ease and Nadine and YK and Proof and Keys and Omar. Everybody, like, we all influenced each other in such a like major way.
Yeah, no. Right. And like how far y'all stuck together, and like even after the revolution. I mean, it's not done, but technically, like after that phase of, you know, the protests and all that, y'all still, you know, keeping it moving and whatnot, and then eating. Everybody's eating. Like everybody's working on themselves, you know. In the meanwhile, and at the same time, y'all still working towards a cause. Yeah. But
we actually got together in to your point. We got together in 2020, just randomly. It was in the middle of the pandemic too. It was kind of wild for that. But we in 2020, it was like July. We were like, yo, let's do a camp. Let's all like get in one spot and just work on music for like a month.
Oh, that's hard.
So we all grouped up in the UK, because I think Proof, Ease, and Keys were all in the UK at that time.
Right.
And we all just flew into London, Birmingham. We found like a spot in Birmingham, and we were just locked in for like 3 weeks, and it was quarantine time, so we weren't really out like that. We were just everybody's in one space, and we were just creating. It was such an amazing time. So we'll do certain things like that. Right now, we were just in Dubai. We was tapped in there. So, and it's like you said, it's dope that we take those moments to group up and work on collective projects, and then we all take that inspiration and go do our own. And go do
your own, because even like, it's balance, and then at the same time, you can take whatever you're working on, you know what I'm saying, ask opinions, because y'all all talented, right?
Like,
you know what I'm saying?
Nigga Keys wrote this hard-ass verse, I gotta
get exactly. Not like envy type of stuff, but it's more like, motivation, like, you know, pushing each other, whatnot. That's what you want. That's what you need. The circle, where did the name come from?
Where did the name come from? I think, there's probably Proof will probably give you a whole background to it. There's some background to it, but I know it was just kind of like we were spitballing different ideas, and then the circle came up, and then we were like, oh, yeah, that makes sense, because it's like, you know, it makes sense toward it's our circle, it's not circle towards the whole thing. Proof probably got deeper meanings to it. Proof, comment under this and give everybody the deep abstract meaning.
Proof, let us know, bro.
But you know, before y'all all linked up, right? Did you realize like, oh man, there's a lot of Sudanese artists out there? Like, did that moment make you realize, oh man, there's more than what I expected? Like, there's a lot of us out here.
Hell yeah, it was very unique. Like, and it's crazy because we all from Sudan. You know,
all from other parts of the world.
And all from other parts of the world. So that was part of the like uniqueness in everybody's style.
Right.
And what struck me the most was that the level of talent that's in Sudan. Like artists like my man, artists like Rotation, like Flipter, like Al Sada, who just dropped a crazy music video with Flipter.
These are all Sudanese artists. Like,
all Sudanese artists, they all doing their thing, bro. And that was what struck me the craziest, was because like, yo, Soldier, it's a bunch of people I'm leaving out, but like they rap in Arabic, you know what I mean? And that was my first time really being exposed to Arabic rap in general, but like Arabic rap in Sudanese dialect, and like the level of creativity and the music and in the visuals and everything that came out. It's like, damn, they doing this in Sudan, and I never knew.
Yeah, y'all dialect is different though. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
you know why? Because this guy can't say my name.
Qasim?
Yeah.
What do you say?
It's Qasim.
That's it.
My man's like
Qasim.
with a G. He says a Qasim.
I don't say Qasim, bro. I say Qasim. 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 No, it's
When he's mad, it's like more apparent. When he's mad at
Qasim.
Yeah, but it's not with the off. It's with you say with the G sound.
What? It's with a
Or you should say it with a G sound, or you should say with a cough.
With the cough.
With a cough.
Qasim. Bro, you've been.
He said it.
It's y'all dialect though.
He said it in the Egyptian dialect. That's how he said something completely different.
No, but I've noticed like even there's like some uncle of mine. He was like in Sudan for a lot of years, right? So he has like his certain Arabic words he says is a Sudanese dialect. So he says it like that too. So that's why I'm familiar with it too.
Yeah, listen,
he says
bro.
Qasim. I'm like, bro, what you saying?
I'm gonna just say K Sam's from now on. K Sam's, bro. K Sam's. In terms of your own personal career, right? Your own music and whatnot. It's like, what do you feel like is one of your biggest like? What's your biggest inspiration with having and doing music?
My biggest inspiration, I mean, honestly, it's probably what we were talking about earlier, like seeing how much it connects to people.
Right.
Like getting random DMs. Like I read all my DMs, by the way. Like don't matter how many ones I have. Like I'll go through all of them, and most of the time I'll try my best to respond to like everybody.
Yeah, that's right.
Because that means so much to me. Just like the fact that somebody listened to it, took the time out to say something, that means they connected to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is like probably my biggest inspiration that drives me. And then obviously all the creativity in the Sudanese world, but also outside, like artists like I was just listening to Anderson .Paak on the way over here, like newer artists like Lil Baby, even I listen to a lot, like a lot of UK artists like Loyal Carner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I have like all these different inspirations in terms of music. My playlist is mad diverse.
Yeah, I've been getting into that UK music too, bro. That joint be fire.
Crazy, man.
Yo, what's one artist, a producer that you always want to work with that you haven't worked with yet?
Legendary artist, producer that it would be crazy if I ever worked with them is DJ Premier. DJ Primo is like, I love his beats, man, and just like everything about the way that he puts together his beats, like, and he has so much diversity and range. Like that's probably one of the first producers that come to mind. Also one of the newer ones, maybe like Hit Boy. I rock with Hit Boy heavy. Alchemist, fire. I have a homie who I'm working with right now who gives me like, and Jay Dilla is also one of my inspirations in terms of like music taste and just in general. One of the homies, shout out James, bro. James bugging out, crazy, and he gives me those Jay Dilla vibes.
Yeah.
It's like all those like kind of old school boom bapish, but also just musical artists, you know what I mean? That really pay attention to the music,
right?
The music of it.
Right.
Like, I love that.
And then
those type of producers. That's why like when I hear those, I was like, I remember like there was a time frame where I was like forwarding you like certain beats I heard. I was like, let me just send it to him just because it made me think about your music.
And you knew, you were like, yo, this is something that would compliment.
Yeah.
You knew exactly that type of
man.
Type of lane.
Artist, who would you like to like, you know what I'm saying, work with in terms of, or like feature on, or
artists? By the way, producer too, somebody I forgot, K Tronada. K Tronada, heavy man, yeah, bro. He's like also goated to me in terms of my top 5. Artist though, I would say I've always said Anderson .Paak, so I'm gonna say Anderson .Paak too, cause like he's just he's so creative and like he can dive into any type of like style you put him in, you know,
right.
To anything, and like he adds value every single track you hear, you know what I mean? Anything you hear him on, he's adding something to it that's just super dope and
you just reminded me too.
Original.
With him when he teams up with what's his name?
Corday.
Nah. Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
Yo, they be having some classical albums.
Bro,
oh my gosh.
Like them Joneses like belong in the 80s.
Yeah, and they have a whole genre for like they create a whole genre, style and everything, and it's like it's just complete classic that they be making, bro. So like when they team up, speaking of like when people team up, artist and producer, like Kobe, Shaq. Like what's the best? What's the best like? Duo? Yeah, what's the best duo?
Jeez, bro. I was just listening to Nas' album, the King's Disease joint. Him and Hit Boy. Yeah. That's like crazy. It's new. They just teamed up recently. That's crazy.
You could say even like recent ones or old back in the day. Either one doesn't matter.
I'm trying to think about a back in the day duo. Who would be crazy? So there's not producer and artist. It's just artist, but Talib Kweli and Mos Def, Black Star. Like I listen to a lot of Black Star.
Yeah. That actually mean combo. They have a podcast, by the way.
Oh, do they?
Them two in with Dave Chappelle.
For real?
No way.
I saw
the Midnight Miracle.
Yo, crazy thing is, I seen it. I saw it on my timeline, and then I went and I downloaded the podcast so I could listen to it another time.
But yeah, definitely check them out. They're dope, bro. Them three, like Dave Chappelle, Mos Def, and Talib.
That's why I was so interested. I was like, yo, this is probably legendary conversations.
Yeah. Yassine Bey. He don't go by Mos Def no more. You know, I used to saying that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about producer artists.
Or artists too.
Or artists, just artists. It doesn't have to be like producer artists. It could be like just artists or like, you know what I'm saying? You're like
Kobe and Shaq.
You know? Kobe and Shaq, hell yeah. Kobe my favorite basketball player of all time.
I was about to ask you too. I was about to switch it up after the music. I was gonna say LeBron or Kobe, but you said it.
Yeah, Kobe.
My man. That's
even though I LeBron because I'm also a Lakers fan. You know, so like when I became a Kobe fan, I was like, I'm loyal to the Lakers too, because Kobe loyal to the Lakers.
Yeah.
So now I'm still loyal to the Lakers.
You know, so that's why you mess with LeBron.
But I rock LeBron.
I think with the Kobe fans, well, from my perspective, we've grown to appreciate LeBron's greatness. I'm not a LeBron hater. We've grown to appreciate his greatness, but we still will hold Kobe,
of course,
above him for certain reasons. It's just the way their games are.
Yeah.
It's not even anything that
it's just the style
what they've accomplished. Yeah.
That's not what Draymond Green is saying.
What Draymond is saying?
Yeah, what he said.
That man is praising LeBron. He be like generally he be like every what's it called? He be like, LeBron is the greatest.
He's not gonna take.
You know how he be?
He's not gonna say LeBron over Kobe though.
No, he's saying he's the greatest. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Every what's it called time he's getting interviewed.
LeBron has arguments to be greatest of all time. He could be considered greatest of all time. But there's just certain things like even NBA players will speak of. Like there's just certain things about their game. You know, they say killer instinct this, killer instinct that.
I think Kobe's skill set was always more advanced than LeBron's. I'll say that. That might be controversial too, but I think so because LeBron, even coming into the league, they would say that it was like, oh, his skill set isn't insane. Like his skill, they were like predicting that his skill set would need to match up to his physicality and his athleticism for him to be a GOAT, and it did. It did. Like he developed his skill set so much, but I think Kobe Kobe versus looking at LeBron throughout their careers. I think Kobe's skill set was just so like versatile, more like
and it had to be, you know why? Because the size difference. Kobe was a shorter player, smaller, so you have to be more skilled to be great. Yeah. LeBron is bigger, faster, stronger than a lot of players, so that makes it like his game, the style of his game, he's attacking the rim, bodying you. Kobe is not gonna body you to the rim. He has to be more creative.
Fadeaway joint from wherever.
So naturally, he's gonna be more skilled. So it's not you're right with that though, for sure.
He's hitting bank shots like last second he about to come down.
Difficulty shots
over the backboard joints falling out of bounds.
He has to be more creative by default. But LeBron can play. The thing is with LeBron's greatness though, he can play all 5 positions.
Literally.
Yeah, so that's what I mean by I appreciate his greatness. Yeah. He can play all 5 positions. Kobe can't. But
the milestones
he's breaking. Guard position, Kobe is more skilled and has more like things in in his bag. Yeah. In a way.
And I wouldn't be opposed to saying that like by the end of when it's all said and done, I wouldn't be opposed. Even now, low key, I wouldn't be opposed to saying that LeBron is the GOAT. Even though I don't really like that whole like LeBron's the GOAT or Mike's the GOAT or Kobe's the GOAT because it's like also different eras and different factors involved and stuff like that.
But you're right though. At the end of the day, like music, same thing. Different goes in different areas. Right. Because they had different environments they had to deal with. Like LeBron's dealing with different types of players than Jordan had to deal with. Like the game was revolved around centers, more physicality.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's hand checking. Like you could be more physical.
Yeah.
So Jordan I mean, Jordan and Kobe had more difficult job having to score than modern day. Like it's like they say this.
I beg to differ, bro.
In a way, no, it's just the way the game is. Like there's certain rules you can't do that you used to do that allow you to be more physical. Like hand checking, for example. Like you can be more physical on defense, but like nowadays that's eliminated from the game because they want more scoring. So by default, like it's just different eras. They have to deal with certain different things.
That's valid.
I feel that.
Back in the day, it was like revolved around the center. Like when Jordan's era, the game was around like the Hakeem Olajuwons, Barkleys, the Ewings. Like it was, you had to have a great center. Nowadays, you don't have to have a great center to be a good team.
Dwight Howard was just talking about that too.
Yeah,
he was like, they asked him why he lost so much weight. He was like, yo, back then I had to be big because that's how the game was. Like you had to be physical, you had to be big to be able to play.
Right.
And he was like, nowadays if you big, you just slow.
You're too slow.
Right.
You got skill. You got to shoot some threes.
There's more athleticism. There's I mean, you could argue that the game is more. There's more talent in this era, so that's why people got to give LeBron his respect at the same time.
Yeah, no, for
there's
sure.
more. There could be. You could argue there's more talent.
It's good to
perform the way he's performing still in this era and in that era.
Even Shaq said that back in the day, like when he went to LA, when he got traded from Magic to the Lakers, he had to get big. He was like Big Shaq. He was like, it's more physical. I gotta, take all the physicality back in there. So
you gotta adapt.
Right.
With the music, where do you see yourself in, like, let's say, the next year or two?
In the next year or two, I see myself. Well, right now, I think I'm continuing to build. I think the number one point for me, or like the number one focus for me right now, is building community around like my music.
Right.
And of course, like Sudan's always been supportive and always, tapped in with everything. I'm super grateful, super appreciative for it. I want to expand and continue to build community globally, and like have people understand what my vision is in terms of like connecting with people and inspiring people and building things together, and continuing to just build that community of people. So that's my primary focus right now is connecting with the fans, reaching as many people as possible on this side of the globe, on that side of the globe, and then within the next 1 or 2 years, I see myself. Something I really want to do is just create something for myself, kind of like how y'all have, Halal Wrist, mashallah, and y'all built that to become what it is.
Love.
And it's like autonomous, and then from that brand, y'all can build restaurants, y'all can make podcasts, y'all can do clothing, y'all can do the backboard, the door,
mini hoop,
mini hoops. So like, kind of like building a brand, and being able to have something that's sustainable on its own. Yeah. That's my vision.
Yep. So, that's very important. You know what I'm saying? Mashallah, like you definitely see your vision through Bismillah, and generally, you know what I'm saying, as long as you stick to the script that you on, bro, you upcoming for sure, bro. Bismillah. And that makes sense too, like, you know what I'm saying, having a brand for yourself that's that branches out for anything else, you know what I'm saying, you want to do G-Salih gear, you know what I'm saying, whatever it may be towards the future. I know the Circle got gear.
Yeah, we got some gear. It's not available to the public yet, but we're going to drop it soon enough.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, another thing, what am I talking about? I forgot to mention, you got Human.
Yeah, Human.
Yeah,
man.
mashallah. Clothing brand. So talk about that.
Human. Yeah, so Human, I started with the homies Zay, Tariq, and Roddy. Shout out them. Say time, Rod. We started it in college, and so when we talk about brands, like that's the vision that we had for Human, and it was crazy because during college time we were like, yo, we want to do a clothing brand, and it was our junior year, so we was just getting off campus, and we had our own spot. So we were able to like get all this stuff made and then have like a home base for it.
Right.
So like we even got like a big Human flag. We had it outside of our crib, and then we would throw parties. So like we would throw functions in the crib, and then everybody started knowing our crib as the Human House.
Oh, the Human House.
So we would throw all these events. And then we would also have our gear there, so people would come and cop. We built the bud, so people around campus
like pop-ups.
Yeah,
everyone kept rocking.
So what's the message behind Human?
So it's not about parties.
So that way they know. I mean, me and you talked about it in terms of, remember when I was trying to start that one. So
So we started Human first and foremost as a way to like get the message out that no matter what our differences are, or no matter what we go through, or no matter our financial status, or our race, or our religion, or whatever makes us different from each other, we're all human beings at the end of the day, and that's like the root of it all, and that's the most important thing. Right. So we made these shirts and these clothes that have human, like every part of our collections have human just written on the front or on the back in big letters.
Right.
So that the first thing you'll see when you see somebody is human. That's their label before you see anything else.
Anything else.
So that's kind of like the message behind it, and it was started as a way for us to be able to also give back to the community, and like whether it's the homeless populations in DC, or whether it's people who are suffering from I don't know, whether it's homelessness or mental health,
right?
And then we can raise awareness for different issues,
exactly.
Or people who are dealing with, like, as a result of like
tragedy
or hurricanes or whatever. People who are trying to rebuild. So like those are the type of things that we would support. Education was a big one. In Zambia, we helped sponsor a campaign to raise scholarships for kids.
Mashallah.
So those type of things, but all rooted in the foundational message that we're all human beings. So, and that connects also back to everything I do in music, because as we talk about brand and as we talk about like the things I want to do, and my vision for this is that every offshoot of what I'm doing with this music stuff, I want to have that connection, an impact, to have a positive impact on people in a tangible way, in a like direct way, to be able to be something that I'm giving, I'm building so that we can all give back to each other, in a way.
Yeah, man, that's love, bro. That's love. Yeah, we definitely see the message, whether it's through your lyrics, bro, through the clothing brand, mashallah, bro. You know what I'm saying? You're doing it too. It's not like, you're just talking about it and you want to do it. You're doing it right now. In terms of talents, bro, mashallah, you know what I'm saying? Clothing brand, music, anything else you dabbling in, or?
Nah, as of right now, man, I'm just
focused.
Just focused on the music, working on this project, releasing later this year. It's gonna be probably the best music. It's definitely the best music that I've ever made, and it's very experimental.
Mashallah.
So like I tapped into like a lot of different areas, and I haven't dropped I haven't dropped a project in 2 years. And out of the 2 projects that I have dropped, I dropped one Jihad, the first EP in 2019, and then more in store in 2020.
Right, mashallah.
Or was it 2021? I think we dropped 2021. Between those times, I was just taking it to experiment and like play with different sounds and play with different beats and productions and different producers, work with different people, and all this next project is the culmination of like everything that I've been testing over the past 2-3 years. So that's what I'm working on now.
No, big ups, bro.
Also, I wanted to ask actually, because we all have our lanes that we're in, right? In being from this area, the DMV, do you think it's like a good area for an artist to just come up in? Like, you know how people say, oh, from New York. I don't know if you're familiar with like just just artists coming up in their areas. Everyone has their complaints and their things that they like growing up, or they don't like. Recently I was listening to a podcast. They're talking about, it was a Toronto people podcast, and they were like talking about just local artists, how it's just hard. We always hating on each other, yada yada yada. But what is it like for artists to come up in this area, just from your perspective, your words though?
I think there's that everywhere. Like there's always, anywhere you try to come up in, there's gonna be hate, there's gonna be envy, there's gonna be like the crab in the barrel mentality where everybody's trying, you know what I mean? Good competition, sometimes bad competition, but there's also the camaraderie, there's also the inspiration, there's also the support. And I think the DMV has both. I personally, I feel like there is a hip hop community in the DMV, and everybody's so talented. Yeah. There's mad talented artists like there's Nushi, there's Sincerest Don, Odyssey. Shout out Odyssey, paved the way for a lot of DMV artists. Yeah. There's so many, bro. I could go down, but like they all kind of have their own flair. But you could tell it's rooted in the DMV sound, which is super dope. So I think this DMV is creating a sound not like New York that's been had a sound.
Yeah, been.
Or
yeah,
not like
of course.
LA has been had a sound, or not like or Atlanta that has a established sound. I think the DMV is still trying to figure it out. But the more people create and the more we do support each other, I think the more we amplify, the region.
Let me ask you this then: do you think like an artist has to, in order for them to grow more, or to like elevate, evolve, whatever, do they have to leave where they're from?
Oh, that's a big question. They be saying that a lot.
Yeah.
They say that a lot.
I was talking to people, like a lot of people, they go to Atlanta just because, like, just what they could, people they can network with and stuff like that. But like, do you feel like it's necessary, like, for people to leave? Like, we talked to Anwar. Anwar was saying that a lot.
Yeah. Shout out Anwar.
Yeah.
Man.
Anwar's doing his thing though. Shout out Anwar though.
Yeah, man. I linked with him in LA last time I was there a while ago.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did tell us that.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you feel like you have to leave the area, your own area?
Do I feel like you have to? Nah. But do I feel like it's beneficial? Hell yeah. Why do I say you don't have to? Because we live in an era of social media and everything's globalized. Like you don't necessarily, even to connect with people, even though it's obviously it's better in person and to be around in those areas where you can, in those rooms, it's always better to shake hands and connect with people and build those relationships. But if you want to start doing music, you don't have to leave. You don't have to go anywhere. You can create and you can build exactly where you are. You can create your own community, and you can help build a community with other artists around you. But it is also very beneficial to go out to the LAs, to go out to the New Yorks, to the ATLs, because that's where kind of like in America the hubs of music are and longest standing culturally. Music hubs. So I think it's only beneficial, but it doesn't mean, a lot of people think you have to and a lot of people have the false assumption that if I'm doing music and I go to LA, I'm popping. I'm going pop for sure, like 100%. Or they think my I would even go a step to say, like, people think my biggest chance of popping is by going to LA, going to New York, and I don't agree with that.
We don't have to do that no more.
Yeah, I don't think it's true.
Yeah, because now we're discovering even like global artists, bro. Like UK, like it was not like that like 10 years ago.
Yeah, bro.
Or something,
Most of the artists I've discovered personally that I I've never met, and nobody's put me on. Like, it hasn't been somebody who put me on or that I've met in person. And most of the connections that I've made, I would say not most, but a lot of the connections I've made have also been through social media. People peep what you do, and as long as you're being consistent, you put in that high quality, people will reach out to you, and then relationships build. So a lot of my relationships that I've made within the industry have also started on social media. So you don't have to, but it's definitely beneficial to, because also you have to know how to network.
That's facts.
You
that's
have
very
to know
important.
How to be in those rooms.
In those fields is very important. You know what I'm saying? Yo, G-Salih, I'm about to ask you a question, bro. You probably get asked at home, bro. When is marriage, bro? You know what I'm saying?
Yo, every episode he bringing up marriage with people.
It sound like he ready.
That's what I said. Yo,
it sound like you
trying
ready,
to put me on
bro.
the spot, like, yo, Gossip, when you gonna get married? Like, bro, this guy, every episode got to bring it up.
That's the segue. That's the segue.
Bro, that's the angle, bro.
That's the segue.
You know what I'm saying? We need some little G-Salihs running around, bro. Nah, I'm good. I'm still working. I'm still working, bro. I got a lot of work. I got some editing to do. I got a lot of stuff to do. You know what I'm saying?
He don't got time for y'all.
Yeah, I got a lot of editing. Unless she okay with me editing all night, then But generally speaking, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, what? His career taking off. You feel me? Alhamdulillah, mashallah. You know what I'm saying? It's not the fobness. It's like, you know what I'm saying? You know, you never know. His mom might watch this. She want to know too. She keep on asking him. He keep on avoiding the question. He might tell his boy more than he tell. You know what I'm saying? So she can listen here. But like, you know what I'm saying? Inshallah, you know what I'm saying? Inshallah, we all
of us, all three of us, you know what I'm saying?
Whenever you do though, like, find her sister for Qasim, you know, because he
got you.
This guy.
Man, it's
make
love.
Sure somebody with hella sisters.
Yeah, with hella sisters. Hey man, G-Salih, bro, it's love, bro. You already know it's love, man. So subhanallah, you know what I'm saying? Regardless of all, you know what I'm saying, all this, you know, DMV, it's love, bro. You know, y'all technically, y'all knew each other since a young age, right?
No.
We met around the time we did the video.
The video, but how do we link up with what's his name? Shout out Sabuna.
Sabuna. He not gonna like that name.
Shout out 06.
He not gonna.
Sabuna, 06, OG.
Mutahir.
But yeah,
shout out
actually,
Sabuna.
he was. I remember.
Shout out Pray Often,
he
man.
brought you up to me and Denise. Like, yo, this dope artist. Yada yada yada. I remember. But I was like trying to remember. I was like, yo, who introduced us? But man, shout out my man. Pray Often.
Big
shout out Pray Often, bro.
Shout out Pray Often, Sabuna, Osama.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, regardless of what it is in the DM, bro, it's love, bro. We support you to the end, bro. Inshallah, you know what I'm saying? You need us for any music videos. We come, you know, pop and lock, you feel me?
Yeah. Need it.
But it's love, bro. We appreciate you for being here too, man. And inshallah, many blessings to come. And as we always end the episode, man, listen, when the prayers go up,
blessings.
The blessings
come
down.
Blessings come down, man.